What? Hello and welcome to Gamersledge podcast. Come on in, sit down, relax. I am one of your hosts, Mark, and joining me this week, our esteemed panel of editors and contributors, starting, of course, with the beast from the east. It's Mitchell.
Hi.
And next to him, the man with the plan, it's Matt.
Howdy.
And then last but not least, from the Great White North, it's Kate.
Does anyone actually call Mitchell the beast from the east?
No,
I think that is a first, actually.
No.
There, but the mess from the Midwest, maybe. But
American geography strikes again if you think Wisconsin is the east.
It is east of the Mississippi.
It is east of the Mississippi, so technically it is east.
I'm 2 time zones ahead of you.
Yeah, yeah.
You're more Easter.
So yes, it has been a few weeks. We attempted to do a podcast, and Matt basically spoke to himself the entire time. So we're redoing a little bit of last time, but also brought in some more people and see what we can find. But let's talk about what we've been doing in all that time. Let's start with you, Mitchell. What have you been up to?
Oh, hold on. Let me get my list. Here we go. I had it ready and then I put it away. Okay. So for games, I've been playing some Smite. Finally finished the first Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth game. Finally did the final battle for that. And now I started Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. I played some of the Marvel Lego game from whenever that came out.
That was a launch title. Or a pretty near a launch title on the PS4.
The original Marvel Lego superheroes or 2?
Yeah.
The
first
original
one from
the original, the first one. Played a bit of Overwatch. Finished the DLC, the song DLC for the Champions, and I played Fire Emblem Warriors for the Switch, all of it.
Nice.
In 1.5 sittings.
Yeah. And then for phone games, it's mostly just been Fire Emblem Heroes, FFRK, Opera Omnia, and Tekken.
Nice.
Tekken's on mobile?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a small Tekken mobile game.
I didn't know that.
And then I'm caught up to where my family is for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I have a small list of anime that I've been working through.
So when you say caught up to where your family is for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's 2 behind? Is that correct?
3.
3? Okay.
3.
All right. Cool. Matt, how about you?
I should have prepared a list, but I didn't, so I'll just ramble off whatever's on top of my head here. I finished off, I'm trying to remember what I reported last time, but if any of these are repeats, sorry. I finished off all of Season 2 of Telltale Batman. Excellent game. I wish somebody else would finish it so I could talk with them about it. Let's see, there's... played, I don't know, I think we talked about this last time, played the crud out of the demo for Detroit, which is out now, by now, which I haven't yet, but someday. Then there was, I started the unfinished Swan 2-3 years ago, and I finally picked up my save where it was and finished it.
So now it's the finished Swan? Yeah.
No, the Swan's still unfinished.
Oh.
But, the game is finished. Rolled from that into Child of Light, finished that, which is actually a surprisingly good RPG. up until about 2/3 of the way through.
I think it's good all the
It's
way.
still it's good all the way through. It's really good up until about 2/3 of the way through,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
The limitation of the party of 2 really gets kind of bothersome by the end, especially when you've got like 12 party members.
Did you play it multiplayer or did you play single player?
I played single player. So yeah, I was controlling my own little glowing ball of light. Then I started back. Well, I started a while ago. I played a couple hours of, and I picked back up into that of Breath of the Wild. Still not to that point where I think it's the most transcendent experience ever. I don't know when that kicks in, but I'm old and I suffer confusion when companies use non-standard button patterns for controls that are pretty well established in almost every other game ever.
Which game was this?
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm playing with the Pro controller. I'm not playing with the Joy-Cons. I've got that advantage at least. I have accidentally taken several pictures of myself as I was killed by a moblin because I'm hitting the wrong button. Let's see. So yeah, I'm I don't know. I've bought 2 upgrades, so I've that many shrines done, and I haven't even gotten close to a divine beast or anything yet. So yeah, I'm still pretty early in that, I think. Let's see. What was the other thing I was doing, Mitchell? Dang it. Well, I played real life fishing simulator for a week. So that was.
How are the graphics?
You wouldn't believe the graphics and the screenshots I got, or they're just amazing. But so yeah, I was up fishing up in northern Minnesota for a week. So didn't do any gaming, but I did manage to finish 2 books while I was up there, so that was good. Also convinced my parents to play zombies, so I consider that a win.
Did they enjoy it?
My dad did. Mom, less so, but they played all the way through to the end. So, and we played classic, so the helipad was buried and you had to get there. So, yeah. Other than that, I'm caught up on Legion, and I think I'm missing the newest episode of The Expanse right now. Everything else, I think I'm pretty much behind on. And then obviously I saw Infinity War and Deadpool 2 and Solo.
Yes, and we will talk about those. Kate, how about you?
I haven't played anything. I haven't even turned on my PlayStation since January, so
Yikes.
it's been a long time for gaming.
But how many books did you read?
So far this year I've read 20. I'm on my 25th now.
Dang.
I finished
Wow.
another one today.
And we're roughly, that's a little better than one a week.
And the only thing I've been playing is Opera Omnia on the phone. I still play that every day.
And any recommendations for books?
I'll have to go to my list. Hang on.
I know Annihilation was one of the ones you've posted recently.
I read Annihilation. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment on the movie. But it was a very strange yet interesting book, where it's one of those ones where you don't know really it's a very unreliable narrator, so you don't know what's happening, if it's like just hallucinations, if it, and
Sounds like watching Legion.
I've never watched Legion, so I don't know.
Oh, you do. I think you'd like it, Kate. It's very, very good.
If it's on Hulu, I can't watch it.
It is not on Hulu, I don't think.
I don't know what it's on for streaming.
No, maybe it is. I think it actually is on Hulu now that you mention it.
I can't. There's no option for Hulu in Canada, and now that they don't have a free option, like,
yeah.
I can't even sign up for it because you need a U.S. billing address, so...
Gotcha.
Yikes.
So if it's on Hulu, I'm SOL.
Ah.
I read a really great book called Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. It's a fantasy story. about a girl. It's very Italian Renaissance sort of political structure fantasy story where she's an assassin who wants to get back at the ruling bodies like the Gisticus and like the emperor sort of things who killed her family. It was really good because it also had this way of writing where it had footnotes as if you were reading a book and someone left these annotations for the reader, like little interesting backstories into characters, and like you'd have an asterisk beside like a bar's name and give you a little story of why the bar was named that, like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good book, and there's lots of them that I can't. It would take like 6 hours to talk about. So
nice. Well, I finally got the VR hooked up, and I went back into Beat Saber, which is now like the highest rated game on Steam ever, VR or not. And let me tell you, it is literally it's literally Rock Band with lightsabers. It's very, very good. I do highly recommend it. The graphics are amazing. The music's great. They've already got a healthy modding community that are modding other tracks because it only comes with 10 tracks. But it's very, very good. Been enjoying that. I also started playing Neverwinter Nights 2, the old game. The old game.
You're on a roll with ancient games.
I know, and I'm still playing DDO a lot. That game is still super fun to me. I don't know how I missed it for 12 years, but there you go.
Does Neverwinter actually have a Windows bootable, or do you have to actually like run it in DOSBox or something?
No, it's Windows bootable. There's like I got it off of GOG, Good Old Games, but there's a problem with the multiplayer, and I haven't figured out how to hack it because there are instructions on how to hack it to make it work, but I haven't got that far yet. So, I have also been playing Pathfinder Adventures, the card game, on mobile again a lot. That's been a lot of fun. I also have been playing Baldur's Gate 2 on mobile. I have also been playing Omnia, on and off. And
I thought you had given up on that game because when I checked your profile, you're like last online like 30 days ago.
Yeah, I love hate. I don't know. I just I enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's just not holding my attention at the moment. I don't know why. And then I've also been playing a lot of Guild of Dungeons, I think is the name of it. It's a card-based dungeon roguelike, but the cards are the map and the enemies, and you get to put them where you want, and your guy automatically goes to wherever the gold is, and you have to build it in a way that he's going to level up and not die. I've not successfully completed like a single dungeon ever. So there's that. I also picked up this weird game called Battlejack, which is a blackjack RPG. It's really weird, but it's kind of fun. But it's got a lot of the grindy stuff, a lot of the free-to-play stuff. I've been playing Players Unknown Battlegrounds. I've played a little bit of Fortnite. Oh, and I played the H1Z1 free-to-play battle royale, beta. Do not like ish. It has like just enough that it leans more towards the PlayerUnknown Battleground side than it does the Fortnite side. But what they do in it is not as good as PlayerUnknown Battleground, so it's kind of floaty for me, and it's a little weird. And the matches go super quick, unlike PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. And you can't control where you jump out of the plane. That's the big thing. And the like aiming with the parachute doesn't work the way it should. So that's something I've logged a few hours on the PS4. Also Pinball Arcade is losing their license to all the good tables, which makes up 80% of their tables, I believe at the end of June. And
Dang.
so if you want any of them, they're still ridiculously stupid expensive. Like they're $5 to $7 a piece. But if you want the Terminator 2 table or the Star Trek Next Generation table or the Addams Family table or the Indiana Jones table, go get them now because they'll never be on there again. Oops, and I just opened it on my phone because I decided I wanted it everywhere.
That just seems like a horrible business decision on their part, but
yeah, they do have other tables from other manufacturers, but the ones that are in the Bally Midway stable house are considered to be the best in the world, and that's why I really like Pinball Arcade, because it 100% faithfully recreates them in digital format.
Right. I just don't get what the copyright holder is thinking. I mean, they're not making the tables anymore, so they're not making any money off of that, and they got to be making money off of these virtual tables that cost $1 bajillion a piece. So I don't know who ticked who off there, but
the only thing I can think of is that maybe Warner Brothers wants to bring that all back in house and launch some title of their own with those tables. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
And PS4, I played the Beyond Two Souls, or not Beyond Two Souls demo, the Detroit Become Human demo a lot. Enjoyed that. And there's actually, I just got into the Crew 2 beta, which starts tomorrow. So I'll be streaming some of that because there's nothing in there that says I can't. And that should be fun. I really enjoyed the first The Crew. So now the second The Crew should be good, I hope. And then I also did a real world game called Rent One of the Scooters in San Francisco, and they're really good. If you aren't aware, San Francisco was actually like scooters exploded everywhere in the city. 3 companies just decided to do test markets of their business models and dump scooters everywhere in the city, electric scooters for people to rent, and it's like $1 to unlock it, and it's 15 cents a minute to use them. And my commute home is like 8 minutes, and that's cheaper than an Uber or anything else. And so my electric scooter actually needs to go into the repair shop, so I decided to rent one this morning, and it's really good. I really liked it. And then I couldn't find any scooters to come home, so I tried renting one of the electric bikes. Have you seen these, Matt?
Yeah, when we were out there, they had them out there when we were out there.
So it's called Jump Bikes, and they're owned by Uber, but they are electric assist bikes. And I was actually able to pedal up almost all the hills. I couldn't make it up the super one steep hill that I have on the way home. But all the rest of them I was actually powering up. But it did remind me how old and fat I am and out of shape. So I really need to do more exercise. And that's what I learned.
Exercise is good for you.
It is.
It just hurts.
So, Kate has not seen Solo. So let's get the general talk out of the way. The public voted with their wallets, and they said, we don't want this crap. And Matt, your thoughts? I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I know, but I don't understand. I mean, I know part of it is I get why Disney decided to push Star Wars into the holiday season. Because as busy as this time of year is, right? So it was Memorial Day weekend. You had lots of schools having graduations. You have end of school projects, papers, that kind of stuff going on. I mean, my kids, so the 2 that are in high school, their last day of school is tomorrow. So, they've been doing projects and finals and all kinds of stuff for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, it's a crazy time of year. So I know that's a factor. I know that's why Dave hasn't been to see it yet. You know,
But you did like it, right?
Oh yeah. I really like it. I greatly enjoyed it.
Is it worth people spending their money on?
It is most definitely worth them spending their money on it if you want to just let back and have fun. If you're going to be critical and critique it and find every and all flaws you can in it, yeah, you're going to, because, well, one, you can do that with pretty much any movie because there's always a plot convenience. And two, it's a Star Wars movie. It's a pulp movie. They're all pulp movies to a degree. So, you know, that's what you're getting. You're getting a fun sci-fi romp, not a serious break it down and tear it apart movie. So if you're willing to just let yourself sit back, stop obsessing about the fact that Harrison Ford isn't starring in it, and you won't really ever question that the guy's Han. If you just let go and sit there and watch it, it will never really bother you. Does he sound like Han? No. Does he look like Han? No. Or Harrison Ford, I should say, rather. But he conveys enough of the character that you can go with it. It fits. Chewbacca is great. Great done there. We're back to the not everybody can understand Chewbacca anymore. So basically, you only get what Chewbacca's saying through Han, like we did in the old movies. There's good action.
Well, let's curtail it so we're more generic. But I'm glad you liked it, Mitchell. Did you see it?
Yeah.
And did you like it?
I did like it. I liked it a lot, actually.
Do you also think it's worth people's time and money?
I definitely think it is. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's where we'll end on Solo for this week.
Can I just say one?
Yeah.
Not about the movie, just about the surrounding circumstances. A lot of people who are not going to see that, well, not a lot, but a decent number of people who aren't going to see this movie claim they're doing so because they're getting back at them for Episode 8. Whether you like or don't like Episode 8, I don't think that's how this works. If you have a good movie, you should go to that one and make that one make more money so that they make more like that one than the other one.
This is like some nth level incel fanboy horse. I didn't like this one Star Wars movie, so I'm going to kill the entire franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, dudes, I have 2 bookshelves full of Star Wars books. None of them matter anymore. I got over it.
Did you? Did you, Matt?
I did.
Did you?
I'm over it. Yeah. Now, I will still make comparisons because there are a couple elements in the movie I would have liked to see done the way it was before, but it didn't destroy the movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't get that mentality. I mean, it's like Wonder Woman is the best of the DC movies. It made tons of money. Make more like that one.
Do you think that maybe the low response was due to Star Wars fatigue? I mean, most Star Wars fans are used to getting a movie once every 3 years if they're lucky. And here we've had, bang, 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 3 of them pretty much right in a row.
I don't think so. I think it's something beyond that because, I mean, look at Infinity War, which we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. That's 19th movie doing 2 to 3 at a year for the last 10 years.
No, it's because it's like cool to hate Star Wars now.
Yeah, I don't know where that subculture of...
It's like the ending of Mass Effect 3 all over again.
Yeah, it
is. Thing is, I still have not seen The Last Jedi. But
I like The Last Jedi.
I've seen the internet fallout over The Last Jedi, but I imagine when I see it, it'll be exactly like when I played Mass Effect 3 after like the internet, kerfuffle, where it's like, this wasn't that bad. Why is everyone so butthurt about it?
Yeah, and I don't understand necessarily all the arguments against 8, but I there's a couple I do, but
It's the same thing as also, remember when Seinfeld ended and people hated it because it wasn't what they wanted, and it will happen at the end of Game of Thrones, and it's the same thing that's happening now, that it's not what I pictured in my head, so it's bad.
Yeah, that's really kind of what it seems to come down to.
Fiction, so it's bad.
Right.
Like, it's that mentality, I think.
See, I have a weird opinion on it compared to most of the Star Wars folks that I know. Like, Episode 7 was okay, but it was too Star Trek 2, Star Trek Into Darkness for me. Because that was just a reimagining of Star Trek 2 all over again, slightly different. And 7 for me was basically, the
Star Wars.
Yeah, it was the same thing. And I wanted them to go a complete different direction. I felt that's what we got with 8. So I was very happy with 8. Whereas a lot of the purists were very vocal in their unhappiness about it. I don't know why. I thought it was an overall decent movie.
I've been trying to get Ian to explain to me why he's turned around, because at first he loved it and now he doesn't. I don't know. He won't exactly define what his level of dislike is to me, because I think he's afraid of upsetting me or something. But I've been really trying to get him to explain to me what it is that he evolved, other than his typical evolve from like to meh, which is his normal trend with movies. But what specifically about this one? Because he's like, what about it? Is it just a filming thing? Is it they use the wrong color lighting filter? Because he gets film snobby like on that kind of stuff. So if it's that, okay, fine, whatever. But I'm
gonna say something that's gonna if Ian's watching, it's gonna piss him the hell off. But I might put it into, like I said, I haven't seen Last Jedi, so I can't comment on how I feel about it. But it's one of those things where it might be an agree to disagree kind of thing with him and you, where I don't get why he likes Snow Crash so much, because I didn't like that book very much.
I actually am right there with you. I did not read the book. I watched the movie, and the movie was okay.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
With Captain America, no less.
With Chris Evans?
No, you're thinking Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer and Snow Crash are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing at all.
Wait, Snow Crash is the one with the pizza delivery, right?
Yeah, hero protagonist.
Yeah. Okay, that was better than Snowpiercer. Sorry. I did read that book. I did read that book, yeah.
But Snow Crash was okay.
Yeah.
But he has it in like a biblical reverence that I'm just like, eh. So it might just be one of those like agree to disagree things. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and it is, and I have no problem with him not liking the movie. I just want to know why, because his view did evolve from love it to not so much love it. So
I definitely understand that, because as I chew on certain movies, I've definitely had a stronger reaction over time. But yeah, I think you should be able to articulate that into a.
And I think he can. He won't, to me, for some reason.
Mr. J Knight says, "Have you seen the Dead by Daylight new Monster the Clown?" No, I stopped playing Dead by Daylight. I liked it for a while, but now the more I've played it, I actually really don't like it anymore. I don't know why. That's one of those things, just like we're talking about, that like at first I was okay, it's okay, but then as time's gone on, I'm like, I don't want to spend my time this way. I don't know why.
All right, so that solo conversation went on way longer than I'm sure you wanted it to. So what's next?
So let's talk about highlights of news, and then we'll get to the spoiler cast on. Well, we'll do generic Infinity War and
do Infinity War first, because I can talk about that one.
Yeah, we can do spoiler Infinity War, and then Kate's got the bop.
Deadpool too, right? So
yeah,
right. Okay. Is there anything
I actually really want to see Solo. Like, I didn't before it came out, because I was just like, it's the same reaction I'm having now where they announced the Boba Fett movie. I was like, why? But I don't know, it looks like it's actually pretty good. So
it surprised me. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could go back to any podcast in the last 5 years and I would be ragging on the concept of a Solo movie and how it's just a bad idea and never going to be any good. I really, really, really like this movie.
which is amazing because you've been the
It
most
might have been Donald
meh.
Glover's swagger. That
Well, Donald Glover,
ballad.
dude, I have no idea. He sounds like Billy D. Williams. I don't know how the hell he did it, but
I saw an interview with him where he finally got to meet Billy D. Williams, and this was not recently. This was like when he first got the part, and he went out to lunch with him, and he was basically like, "I've got an idea that he's from a poor family, from this, that, and the other," and he like, I guess went on for like 30 minutes, and he's like, "What do you think?" And Billy D. Williams was like, "F man, as long as he's charming, who cares?" And I'm like, "Yep, that sounds about right. I agree with this." I'm just scanning the news. There's been a lot. Apple blocked Steam from getting their local network streaming up and running. Maybe they thought it was going to be too close to, I don't know, who knows. They're still supposedly
I also
working
gotta
on it.
say, when you were talking about all the stuff that you've played,
Yeah.
you're like the first person I've heard talk about PUBG in like forever, because everyone talks about Fortnite, no one talks about PUBG.
Yeah, and
It's like, oh yeah,
Both
that
can
game
go in a hole and
exists.
burn.
Well, since we're talking about it right now, do we just want to talk about the newest news about that whole thing?
Yeah, absolutely. PUBG is suing Fortnite for copying the hell out of them, which
and that may not be exactly what it looks. Of course, the lawsuit is still sealed, so nobody knows exactly what's in it. But what they believe is Epic helped, because they're both in. Help me.
The developers,
Unreal.
Unreal.
Is it Unreal? Yeah, it's in all. They're both in Unreal 4.
Yeah.
And Epic helped Blue Point. Is that the name of the company?
Yes.
Tweak or optimize PUBG. So it appears that PUBG, which is the publisher of PlayerUnknown's Battleground in Korea, is suing whatever company is publishing it in Korea, or suing Epic through them or something. I don't know. It's very convoluted, but this is all happening because it's coming out in Korea right now.
Yeah.
For what is believed to be IP, or I guess it's intellectual property theft. Like they stole code effectively. They stole algorithms to make the battle royale in Fortnite. Seems to be what the accusation is going to be.
Yeah. So this will be a very interesting case to watch, because that it's going to set precedent for whatever they plan to do for ramifications here.
Right. Otherwise, H1Z1 can sue. If it's just for stealing the game style, then H1Z1 should sue PUBG, because they did it long before PUBG did it. H1Z1's.
Well, no, they didn't have their battle royale out until
on
recently.
The PC they did. They had it for
a
couple of years before PUBG did.
Interesting. Then how come it's so crappy?
I don't know, because it was the first one.
Star Trek Bridge Crew is getting DLC that lets you play as only on the PlayStation, only on PlayStation VR.
That's true.
For a month, and then it comes to everyone else, but lets you play as Star Trek Next Gen. So that was kind of cool.
$15 for the expansion on PlayStation. I don't know what it's going to be in others.
Yeah, there was a lot of the TV shows were canceled left and right. It was a body minefield.
It was sci-fi TV shows.
Yeah, pretty much. Right? Well, no, comedies too.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yeah.
Yeah. So
and both are saved.
Yes.
By God. NBC. Well, NBC let go one and saved another. Yeah.
Yeah, but Expanse is still being talked. No, they were still talking about it. They haven't done it yet.
Oh, I thought it was official now. Okay. I thought
not that I've seen, but I've only posted once in the last 3 weeks.
Just to post over what I posted, yes.
I was pretty sure that they had it, though, because like the hashtag and stuff was changed.
Well, we can find out pretty quick.
Fact Checking Squad is working on it.
Thank you. Margot Kidder dies at 69. Very sad. Movie Pass owner, my favorite flaming flying airplane that is on its way in slow motion crash, says that they have $300 million to last them about 18 months. So I'll ride that plane to the ground.
Yes, it has been confirmed. Amazon has picked up The Expanse for a 4th season.
Woohoo! I'm actually super happy about finding that. Nope, don't care. Battlefield 5 announced going back to World War II. Everyone seems positive about it.
That is an
not
insane
everyone.
trailer. Yeah, not everyone, because
Yeah.
there are the ladies in there, and some people isn't happy.
Which is funny because they did participate in the war, and what's worse is the prosthetic that they showed in the trailer was actually something the government was working on during World War II, which is hilarious because everybody said it's not real. Yeah, it actually is. Dumb people. Tencent acquired the Path of Exile majority stake in Path of Exile's developer. So that's interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to make a console play at that point, which I would be actually kind of super happy about.
That's creepy looking.
So I kind of do wish Dave was here so that I could mock him about this. So Capcom figured out a way to bring Resident or not is it Resident Evil 7? Yeah,
Yep.
to the Switch, and that's through streaming it.
Why would you want to play a horror game on that teeny tiny screen?
Well, you can play it on your big screen.
Yeah.
I guess.
From what I've heard, from people who have tried it, it doesn't work well at the moment either.
Yeah, I was thinking not. Sony's new CEO said that the next PlayStation is 3 years off, and Matt's sphincter closed tighter than anything else on the face of the planet because now he's not buying a new PlayStation for 3 years.
Oh my.
Tell me I'm wrong, Matt.
Well, I don't know. Now that their summer of play or whatever, PS4 Pros are going to be $50 off. So, and there's a potential Spider-Man edition still coming. So there's still possibilities.
But now I'm totally in that boat. I was thinking about buying a PS4 Pro, and now I really want to hold off for 3 years.
Well, it does say it's at least 3 years, so it could be longer.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be longer.
Or it could be shorter.
Yeah.
It could be shorter.
I wouldn't set my watch to it.
No. Dear Lord, no.
So apparently a PlayStation Classic is being internally kicked around in Sony, and I'm still like, as long as they license all the games that made it great, and we don't just get Tomba and like one other game, I'm good with it.
And if they make more than 10 of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to have at least Tomba and Ape Escape. At least those two.
Oh, jeez. Oh, please don't do that. No.
Well, they could also have Legend of Dragoon. That was made by Sony Studios.
That's true. Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
I never have finished that game.
Me either. I'd be kind of down for it.
Total Biscuit died at age 33. Super sad. Well, we didn't really say a whole lot about this. I'm glad DICE came out and said female playable characters are here to stay. Females make up a huge portion of the gaming market. I think that people should be able to be represented. It's a video game. And if people want to play female character avatars, what's the freaking problem? Seriously. It's not a historical simulation. It's an action game. Does everybody forget this but me on the internet?
Well, but women did fight in the war.
I know, but the people who say that they can't be female playable characters, it makes no sense to me. Why?
These are also the same people, though, that are pushing for government redistribution of sex. So, why are you even listening to them?
I don't
What does
know.
that even mean? Government
They-
redistribution of sex?
The government the government doing a Handmaid's Tale and forcing women to have sex with incels.
Oh.
All right. we did a joint effort between our channel and Shank the Noob. We did a Divinity Original 2 hot mess playthrough. It's 4 hours long. We had a lot of fun. I think I almost broke Jimmy like 4 or 5 times.
Did you get out of the first chapter?
No.
You're never going to leave the first chapter of this game. Ever.
On my own personal playthroughs, I'm halfway through Act 2. But no, we did not. We only made it like a third of the way through the first chapter, I think. So we'll try and pick it up. Fallout 76 is announced. We don't know what it is. It's supposed to be an online thing, but that's pretty much all we know.
So is it going to be like MMO Fallout, maybe?
That's kind of what it seems
guessing?
like.
Possibly. Yeah. Someone. So the internet peoples that are super into this saw the date on the Pip-Boy, and apparently it's just a few months or weeks before the events that precipitate the original Fallout. So,
why does everything have to have an MMO? I don't understand it.
Well,
because
we don't know yet.
They make a boatload
because they make money. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of, the other thing I didn't talk about for Battlefield 5 is the fact that they are not doing loot boxes, they are not doing paid DLC, they're actually making the game, shipping it complete, and doing updates that will be free of charge to better build the community. I think they got the message from Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
I think EA got the message.
If they had done like loot boxes and stuff like that, the backlash would have been like insane.
Oh, absolutely. I do not disagree at all. So I think this was the only thing they could have done. And I think the funny part to me is it makes DICE look really good. EA still is like, yeah, they're probably pushing them to do loot boxes.
I don't think anything could make EA look good.
But that is also...
It's kind of like an evil corporation that like saves one puppy from like the freeway, but then they just like still have a puppy factory. Where it's like, we saved this one.
Is Call of Duty having loot boxes, since they've given up single player and they've got their battle royale mode? And
I don't remember. I kind of didn't pay attention to Call of Duty because it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, I have a thing because E3 is coming up.
Yes.
Do you think there's going to be games that have been in development that are going to be delayed because they're taking loot boxes stuff out of them?
Anthem.
Because of more than just Anthem, but like because of the backlash that it's like there's some games there's like, oh, it's going to be delayed and they'll put a spin on it, but it's because they want to take loot boxes out.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why we're not getting the announcement of Borderlands 3.
Yeah, because that was heavily rumored.
Yeah.
That's on the Walmart.
Yeah, speaking of Walmart, they leaked yet another game today.
Oh,
that wasn't supposed to be known yet. It's
Walmart, your best source for all your gaming intelligence.
It's so weird. And I wrote about this when I posted this story. It's like, if this was any other retail, they would have serious backlash from game developers.
Well, but Walmart can just afford to absorb it.
Exactly. Since they are the largest physical retail presence in the world,
especially now that Toys R Us is gone.
Exactly. I don't think there's going to be any ramification from it. But yeah, they suck. Team Sonic Racing was leaked by Walmart today, and then eventually, I believe it was Sega confirmed that yes, this is a real thing that's coming out, and they released a trailer that has absolutely zero gameplay in it. So yeah, nobody knows what it's going to be for sure. But yeah.
So it's a 2019
racing
at least.
Yeah, team and racing. That's what we know.
I wish it was
probably gonna be something like Mario Kart Double Dash or something like that.
Oh, and on a quick rant,
oh dear,
there is a Sega Master System collection that just launched this week on PS4 for $30, which admittedly is not a bad price. It comes with something like 30 some odd games. nowhere in any of the promotional material does it tell you what games come with the damn system.
That's what's kept me from buying those Atari collections, the 2600 collections, because it won't tell me what's in the collection.
I went onto YouTube to try and find it, and it took me like 25 minutes to find somebody starting the game up. And they went through it so fast, I literally had to do a freeze frame by freeze frame to see what the names of all the carts I could make out were. And it's not a bad price, but I'm going to wait till it goes on sale.
You passed one up. I don't know, Mitchell, do you want to talk about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Eevee at all? Or
I'll talk a bit on it. I watched the trailer just before this, but from what I read and what I saw there, it's essentially a hybrid of the original Pokemon Yellow game and Pokemon Go. So there's no wild encounters as far as combat goes, and there's no random encounters at all. There's overworld sprites, and you run into them, and then you go into the Pokemon Go capture format, where you capture them, and then it didn't tell us much about what goes on after that. But there's the only form of combat, it seems, is trainer battles, and there's a few extra details that they've pulled in from previous games, like with Soul Silver and Heart Gold. You can have a secondary companion alternate to Eevee or Pikachu that follows you around. But yeah.
There's 2-player.
Yeah, it's 2-player, which is the first time we've ever seen that in a Pokemon game at all, besides the combat mode outside the story in the Coliseum series games. But it also seems like it syncs up with Pokemon Go, so you can trade back and forth between Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go, and trade Pokemon between the two games.
And the Pokeball.
Or items or something. There's some sort of trade system between the two.
Yeah, the video showed them importing a Pokemon that they caught in Pokemon Go into Pokemon Let's Go, and then giving the friend a gift, but I don't think they showed what popped out of the gift, did they?
No, I don't think they did.
Seeing.
Huh. So, does that mean that there's going to be microtransactions in Pokemon Let's Go?
I would assume not.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the other thing we should talk about. Nintendo's online service that they launched that looks like get your act together, Nintendo.
They were doing so well too.
They were.
And it's just like they couldn't stop being Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I will say sidebar. In Opera Omnia, I just unlocked Cyan, Matt's favorite maybe character. I always picture Matt when I see Cyan.
I do like Cyan. There is no denying that.
Nice.
It's like, oh, it's Matt.
Mr. J Nice asked, "Did you see that God of War went to number 5 on the sales in the UK this week?" It has been number 1 for like forever. Yeah, so that's kind of surprising. But they've already sold a boatload of God of War, so I don't think they're worried about it right now. Which
geez, and then it might climb back up again because I don't know what else was released this week, right?
Yeah,
Dark Souls remastered released this week, and then there's actually 2 games coming out next week that I'm interested in. One of them is like Overdrive. It's some kind of racing game that actually looks interesting. It looks like you'll pick a character, and the character is a car or motorcycle that has specific abilities compared with every other. At first, I thought they were showing me classes that you could slot your cars into, but then I realized about halfway through the video that no, they're showing each and every vehicle, and it's one set of specific proprietary characteristics just for that vehicle. And so that comes out this week, and also Vampire comes out this week. And
Does that come out this week?
Finally? It comes out this week, yeah. And I've been really excited about it, but I haven't seen any reviews yet And if they hold that till launch day, I'm afraid that's going to be not bode well for it. So we'll see. I'm still not real keen on the graphics. The graphics look like PS2/PS3 graphics to me, but I'm still interested in the story. So hopefully it turns out pretty well.
Also, in relation to the Pokemon Let's Go thing, just a step back, Nintendo did release a statement saying that the next Pokemon core game will be in 2019 for the Switch.
Which means that all 200 programmers that Nintendo has are working on Pokemon now. Just like they did for Legend. That's just like they did. Yeah, because they can't do more than one game at a time. Heaven forbid. So, let's talk about Infinity War. No, not yet. Nate. Let's go down around the room and we'll talk about everybody's generic reactions and whether or not you thought it was worth the money, and then we'll signpost spoilers and get into it. So let's start with you, Kate.
So what do you want? Like, are we talking spoilers now?
No spoilers. Generic reaction and whether people, in your opinion, should go watch it and spend money on it.
I think yes, regardless, because it's like a pop culture phenomenon thing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's not like, if you want to understand the internet, you should watch it.
If you want to know what all those weird memes with the pixelated pictures are about,
yeah.
And it is very ambitious, like as terms of like a team up movie. There was the whole meme. It's like Avengers is the most ambitious crossover in history, and then putting like whatever at the end. But it really was like a marvel kind of cinematic engineering to get to that place.
A marvel. I see what you did there.
But no, I really liked it. Like I really liked it a lot. I saw it. I went and saw it opening night, and then I went and saw it again the next day.
Yep. So, would you recommend other people to spend their time and money on it?
Absolutely. And it's not even just like, it's not, if you want to see, without spoilers, it is the best CG acted character since Gollum.
Yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I think people should go see it. I mean, if it's anywhere in your wheelhouse at all, even if you haven't seen all the Marvel movies, I think you don't need to. They explain enough of it in there to get what you need out of it.
Only two you really need to see are maybe Guardians and Thor Ragnarok.
No, I think you can even do without Thor Ragnarok. I'd probably say it's Guardians and Civil War. That's probably
even Civil War. You don't.
Yeah,
you don't need to.
I think Guardians is the one you need to see.
Yeah.
And I'll say why when we start talking spoilers.
Yeah. Guardians. I mean, I would always say you should see the first Avengers just for a baseline on those characters. But yeah, I was literally leaning forward. I was in the reclining chairs with the footrest and everything. I was literally leaning forward almost the entire movie. I wasn't even eating my popcorn because I didn't want to miss something.
And I'll say, just in your comment there, this isn't even a spoiler because it's not saying anything. At the end of the movie, it's doing something right if a full theater of people, you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people are staying for the credits, not because of the stingers, but because they're still kind of just recovering.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great fun. I won't speak for Mitchell, but I know that everyone that went with us, we had a guest with us. They loved it. Yeah, I believe I've seen it twice now, I think. And both viewings were equally enjoyable. So.
Worth time and money?
Yes. Yep.
Mitchell?
Definitely worth their time and money. I would say go watch it. I would say watch a couple of the prerequisite movies, but I probably would have a more extensive list than the others, it sounds like. But overall, it's an excellent movie. Very well acted, very well coordinated. Yeah. And
So-
as Kate said, it takes a lot for them to engineer all the stories to lead to this single point.
So, to illustrate my week leading up to Infinity War, one of our friends of the show, John Myers, he flew in from Baltimore, and he is safe, by the way. He did not get washed away. I just checked in with him.
Good.
He flew in a week early, and we watched, I think, 16 of the 19 movies leading up to it throughout that week.
Which ones did you skip?
We
Iron Man
skipped-
2.
Yeah, we did skip Iron Man 2. And we skipped... We didn't skip Guardians 2.
Iron Man 3?
Yes. We skipped Iron Man 3. And we skipped one more, and I'm trying to think what it was, because it wasn't Civil War. And it wasn't... Oh, it was Black Panther, because it's not out on Blu-ray or DVD yet. So
But it
not-
is now, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
when
it
we were
wasn't when we were watching it. And then Daniel came up the day before to watch with us, and I don't know if I told this story, and hopefully Daniel doesn't get too upset with me. Parking in San Francisco is bad and odd, especially where we live in the city. There are lanes that convert to bus only lanes. And we went outside about an hour before the show. We had tickets to Alamo, which are expensive, but worth it if you've not been to an Alamo Draft House. Everyone there that goes to an Alamo Draft House are vocal and into movies, and that's kind of the general vibe. I love seeing premieres there because it's never muted. But we walked out and Daniel's car was gone. And it had been towed. And so we were in an Uber on the way to the theater trying to disseminate what to do about, finding your car, where it's been towed, how to get it, etc. I am not joking. We found it and we made it to the movie theater in his car with 15 minutes to spare. So we actually found the car, got it. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't expensive, because it was, and I felt horrible. But he was like, I will watch where I park in San Francisco from now on. But it was like this roller coaster of stress for everyone involved, because we were all freaking out about it and trying to be supportive, because obviously he was the most stressed and he was very upset about it. But we got through it. And we watched the movie, and it was like, I think that huge ball of stress actually heightened the amount of stress in the movie, if that makes sense, for our first viewing. And it, like you guys said, I mean, even in this raucous kind of attitude of Alamo, people were laughing and cheering, and and then it was quiet as a pin drop. For 10 minutes, for 13 minutes. And when the credits rolled, there were audible gasps and shock. And it's like, we immediately went and watched it again the next day. And then I immediately watched it again the day after that. And I've watched it one more time since then. I think it's definitely worth your time and money. And let's get into these darn spoilers. Spoilers! We are going to spoil a movie. If you're one of the 6 people left on the planet that have not seen it, what are you doing here?
Warning.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger!
Warning.
Get out.
Boss
So,
incoming.
okay.
So,
I will
spoilers.
say,
Spoilers!
watching
Spoilers,
all of-
love.
We're talking about spoilers now.
Yes.
So, I will say, watching all of the previous Avengers movies helps in, caring about these characters and knowing where they came from and blibbity blue. But Guardians, I think, is the one that's the most. If you can only watch one before, if someone's like, oh, I'm going on a date with a girl and we're gonna go see Avengers. I've never seen a Marvel movie. Which one should I watch before? And it's like that night, so they have time to watch one of them. I'd pick Guardians of the Galaxy because it's less an Avengers movie, it's a Thanos movie.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
It even says at the end
the Guardians
that,
are his family.
yeah. The end credits say Thanos will return. Not the Avengers, but Thanos. Which I have a few prognostications about that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I agree that you'll get the most relevant information that you can't intuitively necessarily glean from the movie from Guardians.
Yeah.
Well, see, and the thing is, I had never seen Spider-Man: Homecoming before I watched Infinity War. I did not need to see that movie to get that relationship.
No, not
Nope.
at all.
I was like, oh, okay, they're Batman and Robin. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
And then I watched
Pretty
it.
much.
And then I watched it, and it like gave more color to that relationship.
Yeah.
But I did not need to see that movie.
Right.
See, the thing is, I always use my wife as a barometer because she doesn't remember the stuff from movie to movie. She doesn't hold on to it like I do. So, you know, if she can enjoy it, if she can infer what the relationships are, if she can put it all together, I
Follow
usually
the
figure
plot.
it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
And me not seeing Spider-Man: Homecoming, I still cried both times when he disappeared.
Right.
So
yeah.
I didn't need to see that movie to have an emotional reaction.
That was brutal. That was downright brutal.
Which was improvised, by the way. Did you know that?
Tom Holland improvised that?
Tom Holland improvised that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I did not know that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There was... Oh, go ahead, Mitchell.
I was just gonna say it's funny how sometimes improvisations are what end up being what becomes the final cut, even if the actor maybe intentionally meant it as a joke when they did it, but it ended up just being the final cut.
Harrison Ford, Temple of Doom, or not Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, that scene against the scimitar wielding guy, and he just pulls out the 45 and pops him. That was totally an improv, and that's like an iconic Indiana Jones moment.
Yep. I took someone with us that had not seen most of the Marvel movies. They'd only seen a couple. And then I also took someone who had seen some of the Marvel movies, but not nearly all of them. And my wife is similar to your wife, Matt. She has seen all of them, but she does not retain the relationship so much or the fine details about it. And she was very worried that with so many characters, she was going to get lost or not be able to follow along. And she did not have that. And she was absolutely pissed by the time we left. She was just pissed off. And she turned
The
to me.
only question my wife had was, who's that bearded guy that stepped out of the shadows?
Well, that's all Cap's been doing this whole time.
Growing a beard?
Yep, growing a beard. Hey, growing a beard in Europe is tough. So,
hey, some guys it takes that long.
that's right.
It's true. It's true.
But the questions, of course, is what will happen in 4? Will these people be back? We know they have, movie deals coming up, so the answer seems to be yes. It would be like the most ballsy move in the history of all cinema for Marvel to say, no, they're permanently dead. I would love that, but I just don't think they're going to do it.
I think the only ones that are permanently dead are Loki and Heimdall.
So this has actually been a big point of contention for me, especially Loki. Shouldn't he have turned blue when he actually died?
Yes, in theory, but cinematographers have plenty of problems with continuity errors.
And how did Heimdall not see Thanos coming? I'm just saying.
Well, I think Heimdall did see it coming. He just decided that it was more important to try and do what he could.
Doctor Strange saw it coming too. Think about it.
Yeah, well, that's... Did you watch that thing that John sent, Matt, about the Infinity War pitch room?
The pitch, yeah, I did. That's what made me not watch the episode 8 one.
Yeah, because There's a series on Screen Rant where they kind of pick apart movies this way as if it's the pitch for the movie. And one of the things that he said in there, what was it that I was just going to say? Oh, I totally just lost it. Oh yeah, it's about, hey, I've written a way into the story that nobody can bitch about anything because out of all 14 million, yeah, exactly. Out of all 14 million possible ways, this all has to happen so that they can win. That's the shut the hell up,
Shut the F
fanboys.
up page. Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cute and humorous, but
Well, Heimdall could have seen it coming, but he also could have seen that there was no way to stop it.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I still question his choice of sending the Hulk, who just got thrashed by Thanos through the, to Earth, rather than, I don't know, Thor. But whatever, it's fine.
But
Well, he
can
could
we
have
go-
also seen that he'd have to go and get the hammer made.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
So as long as we're on that
He
subject,
needed to meet up with the Guardians. Like,
yeah, that's how he gets to there. But how can we talk for 2 seconds about something that, as far as I know, is completely unprecedented, even beyond the scope of a team up movie of this magnitude? But the deceptive advertising.
Oh man, no, there were like false scenes all over the trailers. Hulk was never in Wakanda. I mean, seriously, they did all kinds of stuff that wasn't in there. It's
the
crazy.
number of gems in the gauntlet, when that scene where Steve's holding up the gauntlet and Wakanda, I mean, they're just everywhere. It's just the different cut of the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange scene. But there's just some flat out lies. I mean, they've been good at hiding what the true plot of movies is. I mean, think about, we didn't really know what Civil War was going into it. None of us really knew that's where that was going to go. That was total shocker. But this was just outright bold-faced lying to us about what was going to go on.
That's what they have to do now, though, where people are like, data mining and spoiling everything and like doing all this stuff. It's like that's what they have to resort to.
No,
to
yeah,
keep it from being like spoiled.
It's brilliant. I appreciate it, but this is like intelligence agency level misinformation campaign that they went on.
Still, it is kind of sad that they have to do that, but to a point, they have to. So
I'm kind of hoping games start doing that soon. Because
I will say too that it's just afterwards when the Russo brothers said that Groot's last word was "Dad," it broke my heart.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Fernandez says he hopes Quicksilver comes back to life, and that the teasing of Hulk and other false scenes in the trailer was a very great thing because it helped him watch and kind of thought that the movie was unpredictable instead of seeing spoilers. I actually think that those things were filmed and were just discarded on maybe the Hulk stuff has to be a lie because we know he never hulked out in Wakanda. Unless there's some real weird alternate.
I think they absolutely probably filmed that stuff on purpose.
Yeah, I think so too.
Way that like Game of Thrones is saying they're going to film an alternate ending to try and keep the ending a secret, right?
Right.
Yep.
It's like that's what productions have to do now.
So I'm personally of the opinion right now, if you count the number of stones and you remove Iron Man, because this is truly Iron Man's story, so he can't be killed, in my opinion. But if you count the number of stones and the remaining original Avengers, including War Machine, that's 6 for 6. I think we're going to see all the original Avengers except Iron Man die in order to bring everybody back in the next movie. Because they made such a big deal about sacrificing one for many, and they talked about, we don't do that. But Steve, you did it back in the day. They made such a big deal. They called it out over and over again. And then even, Gamora, when Thanos kills Gamora, he's sacrificing one person for the good of many. I just think that's got to be where they go with this next movie.
That was a beautiful scene too, by the way.
What, Gamora?
Yeah, that whole scene there
like I said in the non-spoiler, like Thanos is the best CG character since Gollum because you could feel that it broke his heart. to do
And
that.
to just see her her realization of
That
what
Oh,
was
yeah.
going
that he
on.
did,
You know,
that it's like she was going to die, but also that he did love her.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the first times that I can remember in all of my movie watching history that you realize that she completely screwed up on her way of thinking as it was happening. Like you saw it from Thanos' side, you didn't see it from hers, but it was such a realistic realization on her part that she was approaching it from the wrong angle, and it just made that scene so much more devastating.
yeah.
I still think she's in the Soul
She's
Stone.
because the scene where he's at the end when he's in like that sunset place with the little Gamora, that's in the Soul Gem.
Right. And can I say that since we're in spoilers now, seriously, I think the ending scene when Thanos is sitting there watching the sunrise might be one of my favorite shots of all time in any movie, because it's the hero money shot and the villain gets it.
Well, he is the hero in his mind. He is the hero of the story.
But we never really see that in most villain stories.
Yeah, in superhero movies, the villain never wins.
Right.
And in this one, he most definitely won. He won.
Well, I still think that more than likely Thanos is going to enlist the Avengers to set things right, and there's going to be time travel involved.
Well, see, like it's like they're kind of following the comic book where it's like, like the whole inside the soul.
Yeah.
But it's got to happen a little differently because Adam Warlock was only briefly mentioned in the stinger at the end of Guardians 2. So it's like it can't happen the same way as the comic book.
It's not going to happen that way, and I'm very upset that there's no Adam Warlock, but whatever. We can do that later. But
And can we talk about the... Sorry, go ahead.
Even briefly, I think Adam Warlock will appear in the next one.
Is he going to appear in the next one, or are they going to basically replace him with Captain Marvel?
I think they're going to replace him with Captain Marvel.
But the thing is like they put it in the stinger, so I feel like it's important.
Yeah.
Because Guardians 2 is essentially pre-Avengers. Like it goes Guardians 1, Guardians 2, Infinity War. So it's like it feels like it's not just throwaway.
So I think Captain Marvel's movie is actually where we will see Thanos again next.
I'm really curious about Ant-Man and Wasp. Because is it going to be pre-snap? Are we going to see the snap during the movie?
Yes.
Like Ant-Man 2 will happen before the snap, and then towards the end of the movie, we'll see. And I'm super interested in that because I really love that scene at the end because you're seeing just everyday schmoes.
Yep.
Reacting to this thing, right? It's different when it's like superheroes because they're not human. They're like gods, right?
Right.
So when you just see like, people on the street like just disappearing, it's more affecting. So in Ant-Man and Wasp, it's going to be really interesting to see the world fall apart.
Well, and
Cassie's going to disappear.
She totally is. Yeah. I think Michael Douglas's character Hank Pym is going to. I think he's going to be left alone. And Cassie and I think even Wasp is going to go. I really believe it's just going to be him at the end of it.
Do you think his daughter's going to go poof?
That's Cassie.
Yes, that's Cassie.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I didn't know the name.
Yeah, that'll be the end, like him like crying over her like disappearing ashes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's really gonna be a bummer of a movie when you think about it. It's gonna be like
Ant-Man
this.
Is so like fun,
right?
So that's gonna be like ugly.
It's gonna be super like fun camp movie, and then at the end, it's gonna get real dark.
I think the end
get
of the
real heavy, like at the very beginning of
the end of the whether it's done as a stinger or as a part of the actual movie. The last thing I think they'll be pull out a burner phone and you'll see Steve Rogers and he'll hit dial.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. One wants to know who or what Avenger should be the one that kills Thanos. I sincerely hope they don't do it. I hope they do not kill him. They have been doing this They've been killing every villain that comes across anybody's path. They need to stop that. They need to find ways to bring good villains back again in the future.
Yeah, like recurring.
They'll trap him somewhere.
Very because in comic books, villains keep coming back because you keep dealing with them, and that's how they become like your arch nemesis, right?
Right.
So,
although cameo, I was completely not expecting Red Skull. Not exactly a return as a villain, but that was a cameo I was not expecting.
And I will say, if I had to choose and death was not an option, I'd say I'd want it to be Nebula. Just
That would be
to close her story arc.
I'd almost want to see Thor, but he seems the best match. But
yeah, I'm forever sad we're not going to see rubber-boned Wolverine. So that's a comic thing for those of you that are.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, if I have to pick, I mean, Adam Warlock in my mind would be the one to win, but we're probably not going to get that. So
well, he's not established in the movies yet, so you can't really choose him.
Oh, I can.
Could you imagine how crappy that would be, though, if he just like, "Hi, I'm Adam Warlock. You're dead."
Well,
that would be terrible.
Well, I don't want him to kill him. I just want him to get the gauntlet, like
here
you did.
You do set up for the next phase, the Beyonder.
God, please no.
Who?
Please, God, no. No, God, please. No, please, God. Please, no, God.
What about what's his name? The Justice dude with the three faces.
The Living Tribunal.
Yeah, the Living Tribunal, yeah.
Well, so in the comics, once Warlock takes the gauntlet, that's when the Living Tribunal steps in and actually, because unlike Thanos, Warlock actually has the capacity to use the gauntlet to its full maximum and usurp everything. But he doesn't. He instead creates the Infinity Watch, in which all the different members of the Infinity Watch take one gem apiece and vow to keep it safe. I would love to see that happen, but again, we have no Pip the
that's
Troll.
How we have the six. That's how we have the six disappear, though, right? Each one of them becomes a member of the Infinity Watch. They take a stone and they disappear.
It might be plausible that Captain Marvel will do it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
They seem to be pointing
because she's like the new Guard Avenger, so they'll have it where she like ushers in the new wave by killing the old.
Well, see, and that's why I said I think Captain Marvel's movie is actually going to be partially
Thanos.
her. Yeah, it's going to be Thanos' origin story, because he specifically says the line, "I got distracted from my purpose once before. I can't do that again." I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see in this one. And it's going to be, like Matt said, she's going to get, at the beginning of the movie, she's going to get the call from Nick Fury and start heading back towards Earth. And then we're going to see all of this stuff related to her origin and his origin happen in flashbacks from the 90s with Nick Fury and Coulson. So I think that's what the movie's going to end up being. And then, we'll see her get to Earth right at the end of the movie.
Does Marvel have the F4 license or no?
No. In fact, there's now a new vote to see whether or not they're going to accept the all-cash Comcast offer that is now blocking the Disney deal. So you can be pretty sure that there will be no X-Men or Fantastic Four appearing in Avengers 4, which, by the way, is already shot and done.
Right.
So, yeah.
If Comcast blocks that deal, though, they're getting bombed by a bunch of fanboys.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm pretty sure there will be some kind of actual ramification for Comcast from users. I just don't know what or how.
Because I know at one point Doom gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics, right, and remakes the universe, or.
Well, yes, but to be honest, if I had a pick of the off-limits characters that I would want to see in the next phase for arch-villain for the Avengers, it's got to be Kang. Kang is such an integral part of the Avengers and his whole time travel shtick. And
if they do use time travel to fix what happens in Avengers 4, Kang would be the natural next villain because he would perceive that as a threat to his domain.
Absolutely. But seeing as that deal is not done, it's not going to happen.
You know,
how many different permutations do you think they have of depending on what they have access to, which route they could go?
A lot, I'm sure.
And this whole talk, just like talking about like Captain Marvel and like all this kind of stuff, it just makes me really wish for a competent Green Lantern core story, either in a movie or a TV show.
Preach it to the choir, sister. Preach. Hallelujah. Amen.
Like, do it as a Netflix show or an HBO show.
But, you know, well, we can't talk about that because you haven't seen the movie yet. So,
You've seen what movie?
Which though,
yeah.
if Krypton does well enough, it's possible that something like that could spin
It is
out.
possible, yeah.
I haven't seen what movie yet?
No, nothing. Let's talk about Deadpool.
Yay! Do we want to?
Why would they? No. Are you talking about Ryan Reynolds being stupid Green Lantern? That is not what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I mean, like, a cop procedural space opera
right there with you.
Show that's Green Lantern.
See,
all the lanterns.
I really got excited.
Call it lanterns. Lanterns.
I really got excited when they announced Powers for the PlayStation Network because he was a Green Lantern for all intents and purposes. And that comes into play in the story early on. And they totally didn't do anything with that in the show. So I was very, very sad. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Kate.
Okay, so if you're going to talk about Deadpool, I'm going to leave.
Well, you can stay for the non-spoiler part.
Okay.
So, Deadpool 2. Matt, we'll save you for last because you're the dissenting rank. I actually really liked it. I thought it was almost on par with the original. There are a lot of questions that we'll talk about in the spoiler section. But overall, I thought it was a fun romp that hit more than it missed. I would say spend your money to go watch it. With the asterisks, if you are squeamish or cannot handle gore, this is not the movie for you.
Is it like on par gore with the first one? Because that wasn't that much gore.
It is far and above gore level of the first.
More excited.
Yeah,
Is
it like Human Centipede level?
No.
Well, no, but there are some very gory things in it.
Yeah,
I
there's
can really
one
think of
scene in
one.
particular.
Yeah.
The other ones are kind of more
Is
comedic.
it like on level with like that's the gloving scene in Gerald's Game?
I have no idea what any of those words mean.
Gerald's Game is a short story by Stephen King that was made into a Netflix movie.
Huh.
And the premise is a husband and wife who are having kind of rocky marital situations rent a cabin for the weekend to rekindle their marriage. They decide to have some fun times. He handcuffs her to the bed and has a heart attack and dies. So she's stuck handcuffed to the bed with no phone, like in the middle of nowhere. The door to the cabin is open. And there's a scene where she has to glove herself to escape.
No.
You can use your imagination.
Not that level.
No. But there are some interesting scenes for sure. So yeah, I would say it is definitely like I do not have children, but even I would never consider taking my children, possibly at any age, to go see Deadpool.
Honestly, I get a little. I have slight problems with gore, but this one didn't really give me any trouble. But
well, I'm not necessarily saying that's all due to gore.
Well,
I
yeah,
just
I
think
know,
this
I
would
know.
psychologically scar children multiple
Oh yeah,
ways.
no,
Yeah, the children
no,
thing.
children, yeah,
It's-
no.
I mean, it's not a gore fest. You know, it's not like
It's not Mortal
nonstop
Kombat
blood
executions all
and
the time.
gore. Yeah, and it's not disturbing like what Kate was describing. There's just a couple of pretty violent scenes.
Someone on the Twitch stream says, I know a guy who took a 6-month-old to see Deadpool 2. Yeah, that's fine. They're not going to remember
As long
or
as they
actually
don't
process
scream the
anything.
entire movie,
yeah,
then
that's fine. I'm just saying, don't take. Yeah.
Mitchell saw The Mummy
Why?
1 at about 4 months old, so
Why would you?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Why
that.
would you be so cruel to the other people in the theater to take an infant to see Deadpool?
it depends.
You're not
It
doing it
depends.
for the baby's enjoyment.
Yeah, but I
No.
mean, if they can't find a sitter and the kid is quiet, that's fine. I got no problem
Yeah.
with that. But
The kid just has to be quiet.
Yeah,
Right.
Mitchell was a great baby when we took him out places, so he hated being in certain places, but being out and about and around people and lights and things, he was perfectly fine. He'd lay there, no problem. He wasn't quiet the whole time. So
I would say though, if it was me in a theater and a baby started crying, I would like touchdown spike that baby right in the ground.
well, no, yeah, I mean, as a parent, you have to know if that becomes a situation, you have to leave the room. But,
yeah. All right, so let's get into spoilers. Sorry.
am
Kate.
I not giving general? Are we not giving general?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Then you-
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm cooler on it. It was an okay movie. I don't think it got even very close to achieving what the first one did. I would say if you were a fan of the first one, it's worth your money. I would say matinee it or $5 Tuesday it or whatever your discount option for seeing it would be your best option. But it's not a bad movie. It's just not a great movie. So again, it all depends on what you're going for. But there are issues I have with it. There are problems I have with it. My wife actually, to my utter amazement, loves the living crud out of the original Deadpool. This one, she was the instigator of going to see Deadpool 2. Like, okay, we have to go see it this weekend. She was also not cool on it, I would necessarily say, but she was definitely expecting more than what she got out of this movie.
And just as a quick counterpoint, my wife also surprisingly loved the hell out of the first Deadpool, and she went into this worried that it would not be as good as the first Deadpool, and she thought this one was actually better. So just counterpoint. That's all.
Well, we can talk about why her opinion is utterly wrong later. But,
Solo sucks. I'm just kidding.
stop it. But yeah, it was fine. It was, of course, we saw it the day after Solo, so that may to some degree color my perception of it to a degree. But
This explains everything. You used all your pent up "I want something to be good" on Solo, and then you were spent, and then watched Deadpool. This makes complete and total sense now.
I think there was enough separation between the two. There wasn't any carryover, but so yeah, I guess that's really all. I would say, if you were a fan of the first one, it's worth going to see the second one. If you're a fan of comics, there's some nice little comic throw-in things there that they did. The opening, there are some scenes that are pure brilliance, and then there's a lot of in between. That was how I felt about it coming out of it. And I'll stop now. Mitchell, did you have? Yes, I took my almost 19-year-old son with us to go see it. So yeah.
I think it was very
Why
good.
are
I
you-
liked it, but
Why is that a bad thing that you took a 19-year-old?
No, I was playing at Mark's comment about not taking a child
not
of
taking
any
a child of
age.
Yeah. No. I wasn't
but,
saying Mitchell.
overall, it's a good movie. I mean, from an objective standpoint, like, I didn't really have that much hype going into it, so I wasn't really expecting anything greater or lesser from the movie. I kind of took it from an objective standpoint, which is what I like to try and do when I watch movies. Although with movies that relate to books, that becomes very difficult. But overall, I think I liked it. it's not as slapstick as the first one. It actually takes a slightly more serious tone. So
Tries to.
it tries to.
I
While
think
still
it
trying
succeeds, but that's me.
A more serious tone, and while trying to still keep some of that slapstick basis that Deadpool is known for. And I think it does a nice job of trying to balance that. But of course, everyone's going to have their different take on how well that balance is, depending on the person and their preferences to how they want things to lie out. But overall, I think it's worth your time to go see, and I think it's a good movie.
So, Kate, final thoughts as we move into spoiler territory since you've not seen it?
No.
Okay.
No final thoughts for you. Come back to you.
Bye.
All right. See you later, Kate. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So, now that we're in spoiler territory, spoilers! If you've not seen Deadpool 2, what's wrong with you? Also, we're going to spoil the hell out of this movie. So, I disagree with both of you. But
there's two of us, so you're
but I get your point. I get your point. Like, I do think that the pacing was worse in this. For me, it seemed like a lot of... The first one had a very natural flow to it. And this one was a little more up and down. And I think that did hamper it. I do think that they made too many jokes. But at the same time, I think they achieved what they set out to do, if that makes sense. And I think they did some rather unexpected things, like the death of the entire X-Force team.
Oh, yeah. That was
like,
one of the brilliant scenes. That's what I was talking about. That
absolutely brilliant.
That's also, I think, was that the one scene we were talking to and referring to about the gore?
No, well, I mean, yes, that too, but more it was the Ultimate Wolverine body rip in half that they replaced Juggernaut for Hulk.
Juggernaut ripping Wade in half.
Yeah, because
underneath the bridge.
And the reason I said it like that is because that is straight out of a comic book, but it was actually the Ultimate Wolverine comic book, and it was Hulk ripping Wolverine in half. But they
throwing half on one mountaintop and the other half on another mountaintop.
Yeah, it was absolutely, and I was very disappointed that they did not address the other half of Wade possibly regenerating. I'm thinking this is how we get evil Deadpool or something like that. Crazy Deadpool.
He's just what was it? Shirt cocking it.
Yeah, jeez.
That whole scene went on for way too long, by the way. That's one of the things where I was just like, yeah, okay, that just went on way too long.
There were a lot of plot holes in the movie. This was no Avengers Infinity War. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, nowhere near.
But at the same time, I thought it was a solid piece of comedic movie filming. However, the post-credit scene in which Wade gets Cable's time travel device and basically not only negates the entire movie, but then also questionably negates
X-Men Wolverine Origins.
I mean, well, that's fine. He can do that.
Narrative Green Lantern.
Yeah, and that's fine too. That can all be retconned. I've got no problem with that. But I do have
himself. Wait a minute, how does that work?
Exactly. I mean, I think they set out to mess with you right from the get-go, because as soon as he saves Vanessa at the end of the movie, what's the next scene? It's him saving Peter, but he would have never even met Peter if he saved Vanessa. So it's like, I think overall it's just saying, don't take this seriously. We're screwing with you.
Yeah. Notice he only saved Peter.
Right. I know. It's like, now
Sugar Bear.
I will say that Zeitgeist is from my most hated book of all time, which is Ecstatics.
Yeah.
I hate Zeitgeist. So when I realized who that was and then watched him die in a wood chipper, I just was like, yes, Yes, this is exactly yes. I really did not like Russell. They really like at first he was funny, but then it was just like ludicrous for me. But overall, you know, if they're building the X-Force franchise and this is our team at the end of it, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with Russell and how they played it at the end.
The whole Dupinder thing, though, that was a bit off-key, but
that was interesting and probably done one too many times. But him, you know, smacking with the car at the end, that was appropriate.
That was good.
I think the beginning was brilliant. The whole jumping out of the airplane scene was brilliant.
The domino cut where he's talking about how luck isn't a superpower and how that's not very cinematic, all while going through the cinematic cut of her ability.
Right. Yeah, that was very well done. But every scene with I forget his name now, but the bartender dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Weasel.
Yeah, that he needed to be gone. He detracted from every single scene except the first one where Wade's lamenting Vanessa. That's the only scene they needed him in. Everything he was in after that, he detracted from.
Well, and I think that's one of the major criticisms of the film as well, is that most of the ensemble cast was completely unnecessary. Al got nothing to do. Negasonic Teenage Warhead got nothing to do. Yukio got nothing to do. They brought nothing to the actual movie. You know.
But we did get X-Force Deadpool costume via the explosion. That was kind of a cool little thing. But
we got the fact that the X-Men are just avoiding Wade. It's not that they're not there.
that was a great scene too. That was. So there was a lot of really good stuff. It just was not connected the way the first one was, where it flowed from amazing thing to amazing thing to amazing thing to amazing thing.
I agree, and to me, they're trying to still be the scrappy underdog movie,
but they're not anymore.
And so that does kind of take a little bit of the steam away from it. I was super happy to see the Juggernaut in all of his Juggernaut glory, except for the fact that he was not the Juggernaut. Juggernaut cannot be stopped once he starts moving.
Right.
And yet he was being tossed around like a ping pong ball. And
again, if this is X-Men 3 style Juggernaut where he's a mutant and not
I'm sorry,
by the...
What are you saying? All I hear is blah, 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 blah. What is this thing you talk of? I don't acknowledge your reality.
That's fine. But if they are not doing the Gem of Sidorak version of Juggernaut, then...
Yeah, which he was in his silver costume, so he was not Gem of Sidorak Colossus or oh my god, Juggernaut. Yeah,
that was probably one of the best CG battle outside of Avengers: Infinity War. One of the best CG battles, CG character battles. You don't think so?
No, I did not like. The CG on the Juggernaut was not where it needed to be. Colossus.
No, I'm not saying quality necessarily. I just think executed not from a technical perspective, but choreographed and
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That from that angle.
Yeah. I just wish they had
dent in Colossus's head at the end. It's like, what happens when you not metal anymore?
Well, he lost a tooth, so it's like okay. Yeah, I love Josh Brolin as Cable. He was exactly the straight man that he needed to be. There were some logical leaps that, how did he know about Weasel to interrogate him? You know, oh great, now he's a good guy? All of a sudden?
Why did he save what? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing we need a grenade to get this thing off. Oh wait, Wade fell and it broke.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on. There was a little lazy writing in there, and you know,
but that's all okay because there's a joke about lazy writing.
Right. So, funny.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
There
yeah,
were a few too many fourth wall breaks. There was like at least one every scene. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he gets that way in the comics sometimes, but that for the movie that was a little much.
But I mean, even with it sounds like I'm being negative on the movie. I still walked out of it extremely satisfied with what I got. So I know you less so, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was not. It was still the palate cleanser type superhero movie that we've not seen since Deadpool 1. It is not a serious, but it has serious moments, and you guys both said that, it tried to be serious but failed. I thought it actually managed to straddle the line. I felt bad for Wade in the scenes where they obviously wanted me to feel bad for him.
I never said it failed. I said that it can be taken either way depending on the person's preference. I think it did a nice job of it, to the extent that, of course, there's going to be people that either agree or disagree with the amount of seriousness and how it was done, depending on their preferences and how they wanted to see it.
They were trying to mimic the first one, right? I mean, to the point where they almost completely, literally, word for word, verbatim, took the dialogue from the first movie about it being a romantic movie or a relationship movie or whatever, and made this one, this is a family movie. They almost verbatim took those phrases, that wording of that whole section and lined them up. Whereas you see that kind of like the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, as with all good stories, this story is about a girl, or with all stories, it's about a girl, right? I mean, that's how you saw this movie. This movie all worked around that relationship. The entire focus of the movie was the relationship. Whereas it felt like they were trying too hard to shoehorn the family stuff into the comedy stuff. It's like, okay, we need to have all this comedy stuff because people are expecting comedy, but hey, we want these serious beats, so we'll shove one in here. We'll make him die needlessly here so that he can have another story moment, and then we'll fall in a lake of water here and have another story moment.
I agree with you, however, for them to use the entire movie to set up the AHA video Take On Me, pull you through the barrier thing was absolutely brilliant. I'm sorry.
That scene was brilliant.
Like such an in-joke to only us old fogies.
Right.
Because everyone else has never seen that AHA video and would have no idea. And as soon as she reached for him, I'm like, oh my god, it's reverse Take On Me. And then the AHA kicked in, and I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing.
Hey, I got it. So am I an old fogey now?
Well, you are wise beyond your years, my friend. That's
because I force-fed you quality entertainment.
That's correct. Yes.
But yeah, like I said, it is a movie of sequence of brilliant events connected by. That's how I felt, and I've only seen it the one time, right? So, but that's like the differentiation. Walking out of the movie theater of Deadpool 1, I wanted to go buy another ticket and walk right in and watch it again. I did not have that feeling at all walking out of Deadpool 2.
I did, but it wasn't as strong as, say, Infinity War. Obviously, since I've seen it 4 times now. I do want to see Deadpool again, because I'm sure there are some Easter eggs that I missed, references I want to see again. And overall, like I said, it's exactly what you're saying. Brilliant connected, brilliant moments of brilliance, scenes of brilliance, even connected by not as brilliant things, is still an way above average movie for me. And so that's why I want to go kind of experience it again. But yeah, I was very disappointed there was nothing post the credits other than that amazing Juggernaut operetta. Tell me you stayed to the very end, Matt.
Yeah, we did. I'm not remembering though.
There's an operetta where they're like holy effing S, it's the Juggernaut.
The music, right?
Yeah, the operetta is amazing.
Which was playing during that scene.
But I didn't hear it during that scene.
You didn't hear it?
I didn't hear it till
They
the
did
end.
a similar thing with Russell during that whole Firestarter scene. Which, okay, if I have one thing that I could change about that movie, that whole walking behind the headmaster for like 20 minutes of the movie going on there, that was, I don't know, that felt horribly misplaced.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
like
there were
right
so
at the
many
end
things, at the very end. There's so many things going on, but Russell's like walking behind the headmaster. And starting random things on fire, and that just went on for way too long, way too much longer than the whole Basic Instinct baby legs poo tuck, whatever the heck that was all. Yeah, that was. Which I'm sure he didn't get the Basic Instinct joke. I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't.
He didn't get that.
Yeah, well, it was better in Basic Instinct. Let's just go there.
It was a lot better in Basic Instinct.
But yeah, I mean, I think all of us are still fairly, spend your money on.
Yeah, I'm not negative on it. I'm not telling anyone to avoid it. But I mean, if you didn't love the first one, you can probably wait till home release on this, right? I mean,
so we did one thing we didn't do before Kate left that I think we should do. Infinity War out of 10.
11.5.
Yeah. Mitchell.
10. The scale's to 10.
Yeah.
10.5 then?
I do get what people say that it's only half a movie, but holy crap!
What a half a movie.
Yeah, what a hell of a half a movie. I mean, I don't think I cannot recall a movie, not even the original Jurassic Park, that ramps consistently and throughout the entire movie in the way that this movie does. There is so little downtime through it, and the stakes just keep getting higher and higher, and when people make mistakes, which, Star-Lord is the reason the universe
dear Lord.
died.
Quill was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Quill is arguably the villain of the movie.
Pretty much. But I mean, they just kept amping and amping and amping. And like you said, everyone in the theater was leaning forward. It wasn't just one person. I agree. Right. I think it was a solid 10 across the spectrum. I would go 11.5 if we were doing make-believe, but a solid 10 for me.
We're using our made-up numbers.
Yes.
Using made-up.
Deadpool out of 10.
This is a harder one. And I know a lot of people's perceptions of numbers. So, my mathematical empirical brain wants to use 5 as an average, but I know really in reality, most people think of 7 is about like the bottom of average.
Yeah. Which is not necessarily mathematically the case, but yes, I agree.
I guess in that context, I would give it a 7.75.
Okay. Mitchell?
Mark, I want you to go first so I can get an idea of what the entire scale is so I know where I'm placing.
So to be honest, I would say it's probably a solid 8 for me. It is not a 10 out of 10 like Infinity War, but it is very, very good. I would not say it.
I would say the original Deadpool is like a 9.5.
Yeah. I'd say probably 8.5. 8.5 is where I would. Yeah.
Then I'm probably solid. Then probably solid 8 then.
Okay. Yeah, because that's it does have problems. It's not a perfect movie, but I think it definitely accomplishes what it set out to do, and I think the box office is kind of showing that. Unlike Solo, where everybody voted with their wallets because nobody likes it. Love you, Matt.
No,
Love you, Matt. I'm just
yeah.
That's gonna bring us to final.
Are you going to see Solo?
Yeah, well, actually, no. I think we were going to, but with the way that the wife is feeling,
Everything's going.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to the theaters to watch it. We will watch it when it comes out on video, but probably not in the theaters at this point.
Okay.
Much to my chagrin. Now I'm not really sure what the next movie is that's coming up that I'm really excited about seeing in the theater.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, Ant-Man and the... Yeah, that actually is soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
But pre-orders have not come out for that, so it's still...
I haven't seen it, no.
It's still over
June,
a month
isn't
away.
it?
It's June.
It's June.
Yeah. So, but it's still got to be... It's got to be like June 20th or something. I would think.
Yeah, and is Fallen Kingdom June, or is that July?
Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out too.
That's June.
And that is already on sale for tickets, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I guess those are the next two. Thanks.
Ant-Man and Wasp is July 6th.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Okay. I thought that was...
Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom is June 21st.
That is June. Okay.
Are you planning to see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Probably not. Oh, yeah. Incredibles 2 comes out in June.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
That's
that
right.
too.
That
I
too.
see that.
God, man. It's like...
It's
swear-
nonstop. It is like assault of movies. It's...
Yeah.
Upgrade and the Drift come out Friday. Ocean's 8 comes out in the week after. Hotel Artemis, if that's one you've been tracking, comes out that week. Incredibles 2. Tag, that seems to be popular for some folks. That looks...
I totally want to see that movie. Surprisingly.
And then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'm really seriously picking highlights here. The Sicario sequel comes out the last Friday of June, and Uncle Drew comes out that same, and that's just June. You know, it is insane. There is no time to breathe, or more movies come out in a month now than used to come out in like a year. It feels like.
Well, I mean, last year's Steam statistics. More games came out last year than the last 10 years combined. That's
Production's
insanity.
Are you caught up on Expanse? As long as we're doing spoilers.
No.
You're not? Dang it.
Legion? We just finished season 2. Nope, haven't started it. We just watched the first episode of The Flash, finally. Season 4. It just came out on Netflix today.
On Netflix, yeah.
So
we've got a season and a half of Flash to... No, we're actually... Yeah, a season and a half of Flash to catch up on still.
You're slightly behind me.
Yeah, we're slightly behind you somehow. And we still have to finish up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet still, too. So.
Yeah.
Which is...
But hey, I'm caught up on Rebels.
Yeah, he finally finished Rebels. That's part of why I bought this today when I saw it sitting at the comic book store, because I couldn't resist. Can you see what
Not at all. Oh, there we go.
No, there we go.
It's Lance Henderson.
Keenus. Actually, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze Jr. does the voice of Kanan Jarrus from Rebels. It's
Doom. Caleb Doom.
So let's move to final thoughts, and we'll start with you, Neo.
Wow, old school names.
Well, you know what? It's subliminal because I've been staring at it as my hand is on your screen, so that the people at home can see your giant head. It says Neo and not Matt, and it finally got to me, and I said Neo instead of Matt.
Nice. Yeah, actually, this was going to be my final thought. I don't know when these came out. They were sitting at the comic book store today, but it's the only Rebels figure I've seen so far, and I don't actively hunt these out because I would buy them. So this one just happened to be on a display as I walked into the store, and having just watched the night before, rewatched the finale of Rebels, I couldn't help myself. Again, if you are a Star Wars fan and you haven't watched Rebels, I would highly recommend it. And if you like Rebels, go watch Solo, because it's a similar feel to those two entities. the other thing I have to say is Marvel Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I don't care how many pages are in it. No single issue of any comic book should ever cost $10. The Amazing Spider-Man 800, which, you know, is a couple hundred behind the Action Comics 1000 that recently just came out, and I don't think was $10. It was like $7, wasn't it?
Let me look. I've got it on my shelf over here. Hold on.
I think it was $7, but yeah, is a $9.99 comic, and it's hefty. I mean, it's hefty by any single issue standard. I haven't popped it open yet, so I don't know if it's all story or if it's what those things typically are. You get the normal length story and then a bunch of carp.
So if you look at this right here, 80 years, $7.99.
Okay, $8.
So they're flipping. It's 800 for $10. It's 1,000 for $8.
Yeah, they flip flop that, but so yeah, once I read it, I'll have to let you know what I think of it. But yeah, that I saw the price on that comic, and I just about if it had been any other book but Amazing Spider-Man, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But so that's that. There's my final thoughts.
Mitchell, final thoughts.
Impulse purchases must be genetic because I impulse bought Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. And it's been going good so far. I like it. Good game. Yeah.
And you impulse bought the Dynasty or
Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah.
Fire Emblem Dynasty Warriors. Yes.
Which is good, but it has some severe frame rate drops and graphic issues in multiplayer. I haven't really checked out the single player as much to see if the same issues apply. But there's
the technical weakness of the Switch really shows through in that game.
My final thought is, Matt, you remember when we bought Dragon Crown on the PS3 and it came crossplay with the Vita, and you could just like seamlessly download or upload to the cloud save and then download it on your Vita?
One of the first ones that did that, I think, isn't it?
It was the very first cross save game.
Cross save, yeah.
And I just bought the re-release for the PS4. Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder. And sure enough, there was my PS3 save sitting up in the cloud that I could just download and immediately use, starting off at level 50 for the game that I bought to play over again. So I created a new save file to play with the wife. But yeah, Dragon's Crown PS4, it's amazing. If you've not played it, it's really a good time. It's a great side scroller. I have forgotten more about that game than I care to admit, but I'm serious, like muscle memory. I'm like, there's a secret door here. Oh, we need to press on this thing in this order. And I'm like, I don't remember any of this. It's all muscle memory. It's crazy. We played the hell out of that game. And then we'll end. Oh, wait, no, we can't end the show yet. We have to thank our patrons. So this is the part of the show where we thank all the folks who help us do what we do. So thank you to Justin, Naomi, Regina, Bobby, John, and Pat. So thank you, all of you, for contributing at the $5 a month and above level. If you would like to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/gamersledge, where you can get your name on every show we do for just as little as $1 a month, which is not exceedingly expensive. Matt, you get a second final thought while I pull up the end video.
Second final thought. Yeah, I'm at a loss here.
Oh, Mitchell, what was the trailer that dropped today that you were talking about?
The Pokemon one?
Was it the Pokemon one? Okay, never mind.
That was the one we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I watching that trailer. I know Mitchell said, I know it's technically an offshoot of Yellow, but it really looks a lot more like a Coliseum game to me with
3D graphic models,
with 3D graphic, and then some Go stuff tossed into it for good measure. But
well, cool. We'll end the show as we always do with a wise piece of sage wisdom to carry you through your week. Mitchell, why does
What?
Waldo wear a striped shirt?
I don't know.
Because he doesn't want to be spotted.
Uh-huh.
Until next week, game on.
Game on.
Come out! I love Doug.